So I want to talk about how people share themselves, or call themselves sensitive, or how maybe you call someone else sensitive, and the impact that that has. So first, let's define what sensitive means. So I've thought about, and I could be wrong, you can tell me a few different versions if you'd like, but I've thought about who we call sensitive, or the people that call themselves sensitive. It's like, some of the things I've heard is, I have a lot of emotions, I have a lot of feelings. Someone that you have to be careful what you say around, because they may be too sensitive to hear. That may be too rough for them to take. Someone who has a lot of sympathy for others, right? It's like, oh, I see someone suffering, I'm very sensitive, that affects me. Many things like this, none of which are a positive thing. And I feel like the word sensitive is constantly thrown around as it's a positive thing. It's a self thing. It's like, I'm sensitive, and you have to accept that. It's not an end all be all. To me, when I look at it, when I think about it, and I'm just thinking about this right now, when I think about the term sensitive in that way, used in that way, represents someone who takes things personally, someone who experiences something and goes off on a story on how this thing is impactful and hurtful to them. Even the sympathy aspect. So I believe there's a big difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is when you feel bad for someone, which requires you to feel superior to someone. Empathy is when you connect on an emotional level with someone. Those are two very distinct and different feelings, but they can be mixed up with each other, if you will. But going back to sensitivity, sensitivity is not something that you want to continue to root for. Sensitivity, what that means is that you are going off with stories in your head from experiences that you've lived in the past. So if someone doesn't call you tonight, I'm sensitive. What does that mean? That means that you didn't call me, so I created a bunch of stories in my head, playing out scenarios that were most hurtful for me. That's sensitive. That's what that means. I have a lot of emotions. I have a lot of feelings. Yeah, we all have a lot of emotions and feelings. Even an autistic child has a bunch of emotions and feelings. What they don't know how to do is express them. So maybe the reaction of those feelings is what's been practiced so heavily. So someone mentioned to me the other day, a coworker of mine, that reactions are when we reenact something of our past. We behaved, we saw this impact us in this way, or we saw someone else behave in this way, and we react. We don't think, we're not in the present moment. We just reenact that experience, that moment again and again. So when we react to something that we're triggered by, is us being sensitive, which is us going off and not being in the present moment, going off with these stories in our minds and falling victim to them and seeing ourselves as victim. Let me know your thoughts, share, and like.